Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos. Yeah, I'm back. It's good to be. Welcome back to you. Welcome back to all of us. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. On page 6, we welcome Shabbat together with the words of Shalom Aleichem. As people are coming in and being greeted, and as we greet one another, also inviting you. You know, I often think of the Shalom Aleichem that we sing in the shul as a way of also welcoming your Shabbat self here in a way. It's kind of like the weekly self and then the Shabbat self are not always really connected. And so we kind of connect them at this moment as we welcome anyone who's here for the first time too. It's a good way to stop and say hi if you're here for the first time. You might be from Eretz Yisrael, you might be from around the corner, but you're welcome here. And so we hope that you feel that way as well. The words of our ancestors can be found on page 6 in our Sidurim. As we welcome Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Boachem leshalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ברכוני לשלום,
מלאכי השלום,
מלאכי
עליון,
ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
On page 7 and 8, the words of our ancestors, this beautiful poem written in northern Israel in Tzvat, 4 stanzas, each one beginning with the first letter of each stanza, beginning with a letter that is together the 4 letters of the divine name Yud He Vav He, God that is, was, it will be. And the highlighted bold phrase, Higal Lena, that we sing here every week, reveal God, please, reveal yourself, spread over us the shelter of peace, the Sukkot Shalom. I think often, not just Shabbat, but Chavivut, which means warmth or love or connection, is something that is that's available to us, but often we're covered up for whatever reasons. I was talking to a colleague today about how I heard this week from another colleague that her husband had just been diagnosed with early stages of bladder cancer. And thank God she's like very excited about the prognosis, like it's, whatever you can say about hearing such bad news. But on some level, it was so remarkable that she'd even function that day. I looked at her, I said, how could you even function today? I don't even know how you got through the day. And when I was talking to my colleague about this, we said, how many people? It's like you walk through the day, and we have no idea what someone else is holding, what they've been through. Sometimes we'll be sitting, I'm sure some of you think this way, you're on the subway, you're thinking, I know where I just came from, but I have no idea what they did. I know where I came from, and I think, oh, there's no way you know where I came from. And there's no way we know where they came from. Who knows what people hold, as it were, what chavivut, what warmth, what friendliness, what difficulties, what mashbirim and difficulties they hold. So we say, God, higal na, open our eyes to see a little bit of who people are, so we might be able to have patience with them, compassion with them, maybe be a bit curious instead of judging. Maybe we could do that for ourselves here tonight, Imagine this evening as a little training ground for going back onto the subway at some point. Like, this is called subway asana. Shabbat asana, subway asana. You're just stretching your muscles here. Just imagine as you close your eyes, even without seeing anybody, imagine that there's someone in the room that has things that are a little bit more difficult than you tonight. A family that's a little bit more complicated than your family. A relationship that's a little bit more complicated than your relationship. Just a little bit, not too much. Then imagine how you would want to be seen by them, and then maybe you can see them. Here's to all of the hidden inner children in our midst tonight that the outer children are inviting us to meet. On page 7 and 8. Higalena.
Gale, gale, gale. From
Your shalom, your peace. On page 9 and 10, Psalm 95, that begins Kabbalat Shabbat. Let's go and sing together. Lechu neranena.
Lechu neranena. Tirai, lai, 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 lai. El Adonai. Nishpati
As we turn to page 11 and 12, the words of our ancestors, Psalm 96. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol ha'ar. Shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, ba'asru b'mei yom yeshuato. Sapru b'goyim kevodo v'kol ha'amim niflotay gadol Adonai umulal me'od norav u'al kol elo ay ki kol elo ha'amim v'nili Shamayim Asa'eh Od Be'adam Evana Od Be'tiveh Mikdasho Ahavu l'Adonai Mizbechot Avim Ahavu l'Adonai Kavod Ba'or השתחוו לאדוני עיני יד הקודש חילו מבנה כל הארץ ויראו בגויים אדוני מלך עתיקון תבל בעתיקון ידין עמים במישרים וישמחו בשמיים כבל עירם ומלו יעלו שדי בכל אשר בו יעזרננו כל ארצנו לפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק וימים באמונתו ויהי לילה אוי 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 Psalm 29 on page 19 and 20.
קול אדוני בארץ קודש, קול אדוני על המים, אל הכבוד הרים אדוני על מים רבים, קול אדוני בכוח, איי איי איי, קול אדוני בידיו, קול אדוני שובר, וישבר אדוני את עושי הלבנו, ויגיד את קרו אגי לבנון, אסיו כמו אין רעמים, קול אדוני חוסם לבודש, קול אדוני יחיד אדוני מדבר קודש, קול אדוני חולל איילות ויחסו ובחלו כולו מרכבות, איי לי לי אדוני למבול ישר ישב אדוני
מלך לעולם
אדוני עוז לימו ייתן, אדוני יברך עמו בשלום,
You may be seated. ענה בכוח גדולת ימינך תתי יצורה קבל ונעשה מחסד גדולת. עד page 21 and 22 נגי בורדו שייחודך כבבת שמרן ברכם תרם רחמי תרכסך תמיד גם להם חסיד קדוש. On the bottom of the page on 21 and 22 we sing together in the bolded Hebrew יחיד גאה יחיד גאה לעמך פני זוכרי קדושה שך יחיד גאה לעמך פני זוכרי קדושה שך nay 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 no na nay nay nay
יחיד גאה לעמך פני זוכרי קדושתך ימים גם לעמך פני זוכרי קדושתך.
So I invite you to close your eyes for just 2 minutes. Just relax your shoulders and just allow yourself to settle in, especially on the latter part of your exhale, waiting patiently for the next inhale to come, as it inevitably will. And as you bring awareness to your body, noticing how you might fill out your body, fill out the feeling space of being in this promised land, this body. Noticing if you need any permission to fully enter the land, as it were. From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, if there's any space in your kinesthetic, in your body awareness that you might say, oh, I'm going to stop there and notice my knees. Maybe bring awareness to my hands. And then maybe all of us collectively bring awareness to what we hear at this moment, just noticing, not trying to hear, but what is already making its presence felt through your hearing this evening. What do you notice? This poem comes from a posthumous body of poetry written by Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory, entitled, the book is titled From the Air in this poem. It was too early to leave. Nothing, not even my having come several days early, could ever change that or make it any less painful. We embraced, I threw my suitcase in the trunk, and you walked away. I called to you, blew you a kiss when you turned around, drove off without knowing you'd come all the way back to the car. I saw you in the rearview mirror, standing there in full erotic dignity, green dress of enchantment, golden curls, full golden face ripe with love and with disappointment. It was then that I knew for a certainty I would never have enough time to love you. I would never have enough time to love you. No matter how long I lived, I would have to leave long before I was finished. So the journey home is always a really big deal in literature and in poetry and certainly in the Chadodi, as we face what is known as the Kala, the bride of Shabbat, and the face of Shabbat and the Kabbalah, but we are making our way towards Boi B'Shalom, come home, queen, or exiled element of our consciousness. Please come and rest again in this space of the heart, in the place of home. So on page 23 and 24, we make our way home with the Chadodi.
Chadodi לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המאוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ונתינם. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נשוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, כל צאי מתוך הביתם. רב לך שבת בעמק הרווחה, והוא יחמול עלייך. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. או התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בידי תפארתך עמי. על יד בן ישי בית הלכתי, כל בוא נפשי גלה. חדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. חדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר דמי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה. לחדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת
נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה
פני שבת נקבלה. Hey, la 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 even though they call me Matish no Machi, oh Matemi, again, so I need me, and let it be done. I'll tell Adodi, only Katala, Bene Shabbat, Nekabela, Vehayulim Shisa, Shosai. רחקו כל מברייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך עם סוסת ענת קלונך דודי אוי לי יקסקלו פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי בית אדוני תארצי על ידי בבן פרצי בבן שמחה ונגילה לחדו וחדו יגסקלו פני שבת נקבלו לי 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 בואי בשלום, הדרך מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצור עולם, תוך אמוני העם סגולה, בואי חלה, שבת המלכה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
I belong. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Page 27 and 28, Psalm 92, the special psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. טוב להודות לך ולבנה לזמר את שם גליון להגיב בברכי חסדך ואמונתך בלילות סודיך. פרוח שעים כמו עשה ויציץ בכל בן אבן. On the bottom of the page. Tzadik Tama Yifra Keres Valvanon Yizkek Shesurim Bebeis Adonai Bechatzot Eloheinu Yafrichu On Yenovon Veseva Vishenim V'rananim Yeyu Lehagid Ki Asher Adonai Suri Adonai Malaki Ud at page 29, Psalm 93. B'kol asmayim rabim adirim mishpei gam adir b'marom Adonai Eido secham nemnu me'od lebeischa na b'kodesh Adonai moy liodech yamim. As we turn in our Sidurim to page 113, we bring to mind those who are in mourning this evening and also those who are in need of healing. Harofelish for Elev, the fragment of Psalm 147 that we so blessed Shir Me'ira put to music, is a reminder that it's not just those who are ill, but also those who are broken that are being lifted tonight. So bring those loved ones into your heart.
Healer of the broken-hearted, binder of their wounds, counter of uncountable stars. You know who we are. Harofeh nishbu elei ומחבש לעצמותם למספר
לכוכבים לכולם שמות תקרא ענק ענק אלנה רפאנה ענק ענק רפאנה מי שברך אבותינו ואמותינו וברך ויעפה את כל החולים רבו שכולנו מתפללים בעבורם בזכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחלימם ולרפאותם ישלח להם מהר רפואה שלמה מן השמיים Shabbat Yim Lezoach ורפואה קרובה לבוא. In the merit of all of our hopes and prayers and our actions, may there be healing for all of those. And let us say Amen. And as we say, Hallelujah. be seated, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbos, good Shabbos. If there's anybody here that would like to say hello. Oh. Okay, anybody here for the first time want to say hi? Let me back up. Hi. It's like, whoa, microphone, what's going on? Hi. So if you're here for the first time, we have a custom here over the years where we invite guests to just say hello and kind of those who's not here for the first time. So you guys far outnumber those who are here for the first time. So welcome to those who are not here for the first time. Hi guys, welcome back, of course. Members of the shul, people who just came tonight to experience Shabbat and to participate, you know. And if you're here for the first time, we know it's hard to come to a place for the first time. So our custom is to stand and say our names and where we're from. If you feel comfortable, don't out anybody else. It's a safe space that way. Really, so cool. Anybody want to say hi? Any first-timers? Okay, right here. We'll start from the first row, and then we'll make our way back. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sebang, and I'm here tonight with my son and my husband, Jasper and Ramsey, and friends from One Spirit. And it's very fun to be with you all and to hear your voices and sing. Very much fun to be with you all and hear your voices and sing and dance. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see. Just raise hands. I'll come to you in a second. Yeah?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
I just arrived from London last night.
Oh, nice.
And it's great to be with you all.
Oh, it's great.
I went to Barnard and lived in the Upper West Side for many years,
Some
but I've been
Barnard
back
people?
in England a long time, so it's
Okay.
great to
And you're
revisit.
part of a Jewish community in England, too?
I am indeed. Yes.
Awesome. Which one?
I don't stick to one.
Oh, right, yeah. Right. Shul diverse. I get it. I get it.
So Orthodox, Reform, Partnership, Minyanim.
You love them all. You're a minion junkie.
Absolutely.
You love it. I love that you love it. I love that minions. Let the minions minion. Let the minions of minions. Anybody else want to say? Yeah. Yeah, hi. Do you mind standing? Yeah, cool. So people can.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Hi.
Melina. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. And I'm a student at the Zadokov School of Jewish Nonprofit Management at Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion. And I feel really connected with what's going on here. I'm feeling a bit homesick right now. I've been in the States for something like 10 days now. I still have 10 days more. And hearing some of the melodies that we also sing at home made me feel really connected. And I'd also like to share that this evening we're holding in São Paulo the first ever Pride Kabbalat Shabbat in São Paulo. We're scared, as many historical movements that we're trying to do, but I'm glad to share and I'm glad to be here with you all.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, welcome. It's good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
So good. Remember, we're at the Barnhart section. Barnhart section.
Hi, I'm Aviv. I don't go to Barnard, but
Okay, cool.
also shout out Shosh J was my 6th grade teacher. So
Nice.
yeah.
Shosh, good work, Shosh. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you live here?
I live in Mount Vernon, Westchester.
Cool. You can just pass it. I think there are lots of folks that want to say hello. You can just pass it along. Anybody that wants to say hello? If you don't mind standing so people can see you, just make it easier for everyone, if it's okay with you.
I'm Zoe. This is my second time here. I came here last week as well. I'm also not a Barnard student, so there's that.
That's
I got
great.
that going for me.
That's great.
And I'm from New York City, from the Upper West Side.
Okay, Zoe, thank you. Yeah?
Hi, I'm Marissa. We are no longer Barnard and Columbia students, but we once were. And we're excited to be here. We live just down the block, and it's our first time. So.
Oh, wow. Welcome. Cool.
Hi, I'm Katerina. I came with these people, and I just graduated. I just graduated from Barnard.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Hi guys, I'm Lila, and I also came with them, and I still actually go to Barnard. So.
So it
Just
was
to
you that I was
clarify.
talking about. I was like, oh, it was you.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, anybody?
Hi, I'm Eliza. I've actually been here before, but I'm re-entering the community with excitement, and we all live in a pluralistic Jewish co-op together.
Nice. We're here on the Upper West Side?
Yes, at 112.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. What's that called again? The Bayit, of course. Speaking of home. Great.
So I'm a returnee, sort of. Rabbi
Oh my
David
God,
maybe
look at
remembers
you.
me.
I do not share. Wow.
I'm Sherry Kronfeld, and Shabbat Shalom, and I came here from the beginnings. I've been living in California for about 4.5 years. I haven't been back for a long time. It's really powerful to be back. I remember being in this room when this was our shul, when it was a basketball court. I
Yes.
remember Makor. I remember all
Before
the
the
places.
church, back to the shul.
My dear friend Rachel came with me. She's been
Wow.
once or twice, and I'm visiting and possibly moving back. And I'm just so moved at how this shul has grown, and like what a blessing to be back with you all. So I just wanted to say hi again.
Wow. Higalena. It's good to see you. I didn't recognize you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Hi. Sherry. That's amazing. Hey. Hey.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my older brother. Charlie is my name.
Hi, Charlie.
We're from New York City, the Upper East Side. This is our first
awesome.
time tonight.
Nice.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. Good to have you. Okay. This is very, this side of the shul heavy. Anybody here for the first time? It's like all regulars. Okay. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. Nice that you are supporting the other half of the shul in that way. I love that. We, I'm sure, have a couple of people online as well who might be here for the first time, so we welcome them in the Zoomagog too. A couple of very brief announcements, and then we'll get back to singing together, which really is like the goal here. Just a couple of things to lift up. So first of all, if you haven't been here in a while, you haven't heard, there was a moment where we thought we weren't going to be having services in July, and that moment passed, and we are on for July. We heard you, Shamanu. The communal yearning for services really made a difference, and so we're on for our regular Shabbat services throughout the summer, including July, but we need you. That was part of the email to the community. That the original impetus to have a month off was because our depleted staff, and we were, before the pandemic, at almost 20 full-time employees, and now we're up to 5. So we've had a serious, tzimtzum. We shrunk our staff, and they're working sometimes 6 days a week, and so we need volunteers. So as you look to the door, you'll notice our wonderful member, Doug. Doug, would you mind standing for a second? Doug, who heard the call and said, I'm going to volunteer to be a greeter. It was great to have Doug greeting you, wasn't it? It was awesome. So I want to just thank you, Doug, for coming early and for staying late and helping out in a way that we really need that. So toda rabba, and so all of you also can volunteer in that way. If you feel called to greet, please call so you can greet. I appreciate that. We are thanking this Shabbos our social action advocacy team. They are incredible. They stepped up this year. Social action advocacy team. So they were working mostly in 2 different areas. One was trying to decriminalize certain parts of the criminal justice system and create more treatment, not jails, the TNJ bill in Albany, and also the CARE Act, which is a personal bill that's very close to my heart. It's not personal. It's a personal piece of legislation that would demand and that all clergy like myself be mandatory reporters on issues relating to children's malfeasance and maltreatment of children. I've been a very strong advocate of making sure that all clergy are equally mandated, just like all other members of various groups, teachers and doctors and so on, which is not the case, surprisingly so. And we'll keep raising that up. And big thanks, of course, to Tal and to the team and to Aya. Again, we keep saying that. So we want to thank everybody who made phone calls, sent emails, met with legislators in support of these efforts. We had a huge impact. We're going to celebrate all they have done with important in the community tomorrow morning. We'll be recognizing some of the leaders with Aliyot to the Torah, and more information will be forthcoming as we move forward with lifting up social justice in our community. We tip our kippot and our yarmulkes to all of you. Membership at Romemu. It's never too late to join or renew 100% of your membership dues, support everything. If you haven't yet renewed your membership, you had a board meeting this week, and it's really vital. We're slightly behind, even though our numbers are up. We have more members now than we had 2 or 3 years ago, but still our financial means are not meeting that. So it's kind of odd. How is that happening? It's a good question. But if you are not yet a member or you are renewing, please don't wait. Take it on yourself after Shabbat sometime in the coming week to renew. And big mazel tov to Andrew Clayton and Josine Shapiro on Hobbs' B Mitzvah. That will be tomorrow afternoon. That's exciting. That family has had a number of celebrations in the last 2 weeks, and that's glorious. Did you remember all that? I am so happy. There are only 3 things I talked about: membership, social action, and Shabbat services, and a couple of other things. So we're going to rise for our Baruch Hu, for our call to community. Please rise. Find the words of Baruch Hu on page 31 and page 32. You know, it's crazy that in this week's Torah portion, we have the story of the spies. So the spies are 12 leaders, the Jewish people that were sent into Israel to spy on the land, to reconnoiter, to find out what was going on in the land. And they came back, they came back and they spoke gossip about the land. How many of the 12 were in that plot, right? 10. 2 of them held out. 2 people said, no, we can do it. Yes, we can. The original yes, we can was in the Torah this week. But you know what's really crazy and mysterious? The rabbis, when they came to define what a quorum was, how many people define a minyan, right? A quorum of people who come together without which we can't do certain things. Like we can't do this Baruch Hu without 10 people. We can't say the mourner's Kaddish without 10 people, right? How did the rabbis figure out that number, 10? So they learned it from the spies. The spies, there are 10 people who spoke gossip, and the rabbi said, oh, that's the number. They do it, Gzer Shava, whatever. It's weird, right? What do you think that is? No. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's likely the case that every time we get together in some way, we're rectifying that sin, as it were. Meaning, as we gather together to say words of holiness, in that way we're also, in some way, the mirror reflection, the inverse of that. They came together to say things weren't possible, and we come together to say what is possible. That ultimately, that when we come together as a community, we say that holiness is real, and that together we can hold one another, we can honor one another, we can lift up in Sao Paulo the courageous individuals who are having a Pride Shabbat for the first time, and Hashem should watch over them and give them strength to do God's work in the world, to bring more love and more compassion and more freedom and more recognition of the divine image that is innate and holy in each and every one of us, Jew, non-Jew, black, white, green, red, straight, trans, gay, Republican, Democrat, everything in between, humans, one big family, that Hashem says, each of you created B'Tselem Elohim. So would that be the world, would that we would get together, each of us, in our small and large groups to say that where there was negativity, there will be positivity. Where there was no, we cannot, there will be yes, we can. And so on page 31 and page 32, we sing together and we imagine a world where together we can do difficult things. Ay, nay, yada, nay, nay, nay. Yada nai 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 nai, yada nai nai. Oh, ini nai na 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 ne 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 nai ne ne, ne 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 ne. Adonai, ay na 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 na, hamevorach, Baruch Adonai, hagadol leolam. And page 34, ברוכת שכינה אלוהינו רוח העולם, אשר בדברם הריבה רבים חכמה פותח השם. אלא חיה וקיימת, תמיד תמלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוכת שכינה המעריבה רבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, המחב תתור מצוות חוקים משפטים אותנו, לימדת על כן אלוהינו ושכבנו, ובקומנו נעשה בחוקיך ונשמח בטבעתנו. הם חיינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. עבדך אל תסיר ממנו, מדרנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו, אוהב עמו, ישראל, ישראל. איי 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 נה נה נה, יא באבא יא נה 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 יא באבא. We prepare for Shema on page 37 and 38. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. On page 39 and 40, V'yohavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ומכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוקים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך
ובלכתך בדרך,
ובשכבך ובקומך,
וקשרתם להיות על ידיך,
והיו לטוטפות
בעיניך, וכתבתם
על מזוזות ביתך.
ובשעריך.
Continue on page 41 and 42 and 43 and 44. למען ירבו ימיכם ימי בניכם, על האדמה שיש בה אדוני לבוסיכם לשש להם, כי מהשמיים על הארץ ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם יעשו להם ציצית. על כאן והבאתם לדורות למה נתנו ציציס, כאן בסדר אחר עשו לכם לציציס, ויישם מוסו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני בסיסו. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לעוש לכם לאלוהים. אדוני אלוהיכם אמן. Each and every night, not only on Shabbat, but each and every night we go through the same moments of immersion in some truth that reminds us of the path. As night descends, we remember that we need to get together to build a world of possibilities. We then bless the impermanence that we find in the world, that night turns to day and day turns to night. And then we remember love. So we move from being together to build a world. We remember that not everything is always changing, and that's one thing that never changes. And then love is also the thing that never changes. Then we remember Shema, it's one. It looks different, but it's all one. And then we say truth, remember the truth. And then we immediately move to an example in our own history of where things changed, where they were one way and then they become something else. When Jacob went down into Egypt, he didn't know that his children would be slaves. He also didn't know that they would also rise up again. And so every night remember the words sung by the Israelites and by Moshe and Miriam. Said it wasn't, right? It wasn't impossible. We made it, and so can you. We made it, and so can you. On page 47 and 48, Moses, Miriam, Bnei Israel, Lecha Anu Shira, they sang a song of possibilities with great joy. V'simcha rabba, v'yameru chulam.
Mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha, nedar ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osef Elem, O Malchutcha ra'u b'neicha, וכהים לפני משה ומרים. עוזרי ענו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אוי די 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 די
Sing with us, everyone. אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו.
ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 49.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך.
השיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ועל ירושלים ישראל. Page 51 and 52. Page 51 and 52. Yiskadal v'yiskadash me'rabah. Almani v'rachinu sem yam nitmachusei v'chayei u'vyomeichon u'chayei nechol beit yis b'agala u'mizmanek v'yemerov yesh me'rabah mevorach
יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה תושבתה ונחמתה דאמירן ביומה וימרו
The words of our ancestors can be found on page 56 and 55, or in your own words, as we stand in the presence of God.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי Vegyo Libi Lefanecha Adonai
Adonai
Tzuri
Tzuri
Vegoali Adonai Tzuri Vegoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehu leratzo Himrefi Vegyo Libi Lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Vegoali Adonai Tzuri Vegoali.
There's a story told by Rav Nachman of Breslov, the great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, that I like to tell over every year in honor of this week's third portion. It's a famous story. Rav Nachman, at the end of his life, liked to tell stories. At one point he said, I'm done teaching Torah, now I'm just going to tell stories. And he said, in the world, sometimes people tell stories in order to help children go to sleep. And he said, I want to tell stories in order to help adults wake up. And he told a story. The name of the story was The Tainted Wheat. The tainted wheat. The wheat that was tainted. So he said that there was once a king in a land whose advisor came to him and said, Your Majesty, this year's crop, the harvest has become tainted, and anyone who eats it immediately loses touch with reality. And so we want to advise you, Your Majesty, not to eat the wheat, lest you also become tainted by it and lose touch with reality and become the President of the United States, and then you know what happens then. So we want you to remain sane. But the king, being a wise king, said, what kind of king would I be if I'm ruling over people that I don't have any relationship with? I don't know what they're experiencing. I have to have something to connect with them. And so he told the advisor, no, thank you for the advice, good advice, but I'm going to eat the wheat. And so he said, well, Your Majesty, how are you going to rule? He said, good question. So I tell you what, we'll both eat the wheat, but we'll place dots on our forehead, or place a mark on our forehead, so that whenever we look at each other, we'll at least know that we've lost touch with reality, and in that way we will be sane. So Rav Nachman of Breslov, it's a profoundly deep insight about the nature of chavruta, the nature of being with someone who's in it with you, and even when you're in the depths of it, you have someone to look at who, in looking at them, will remind you that you're in it. In that moment, you'll be out of it. You'll take each other out. You'll be able to release one another from the delusion that you're in. And in this, he was highlighting a teaching from the rabbis who said, chavruta o mituta. The rabbi said, either you have a chavruta, you have a study partner, you have like someone, a reflector, a mirror in your life who knows when you're in prison, when you're lost, when you're triggered, when you're activated, when you're not in touch with reality, when you're not above the line but below it, whatever your frames are. And that person can help bring you up. They themselves don't have to be above the line. But if you know in looking at each other that you're both in it, so that will help you and give you a way out. And I say this story over every year on this week's Parsha because As I said earlier during our Baruch Hu moment, I said, this is the week of Shlach Lecha Nashim V'Yatu Eretz Canaan. This is the Shabbos when 10 spies didn't get it. Just to remind you of the story, Shlach Lecha Nashim is God telling the Israelites to go out and send spies. They're not really spies, they're really reconnoiters, those who went to get land to bring back information, right? To bring back information. And of the 12 spies who are named, each one has a pedigree. The Torah goes out of its way, and when the Torah goes out of its way to use ink on something, it matters. The Torah goes out of its way to name each of them, Kulam Anashim, or Shei B'nai Yisrael Hema. They're big people, Chashuva people, important people, right? Not simple people who are leaders, people that have a good pedigree, people who have good education, people who have worked hard in the world, people who have credentials, Amacher. And Torah goes out of its way to tell us on purpose that they were so established and so high achieving individuals so that we might know that, 10 of them, 10 accomplished people could completely miss it. But there were 2 who didn't. Caleb and Joshua and Caleb. And so the Torah is essentially inviting us every week of the year when we arrive at this moment to ask a question about the nature of our kind of, the way we look at the world. Like the frames that we bring to the world, the way that we establish ourselves in what is quote unquote possible, what's sane, what is useful to imagine, what's useful and has utility in and could be achieved. Right? Above the status quo. Right? The status quo and then greater than the status quo. And maybe even asking ourselves beautifully to imagine that when we, and we all know this already to be true, that we have confirmation biases. It's not as though the Torah says to us, there are these 12 guys, they came back and they told the same information, and yet somehow the 10 people that heard the information confirmed the dread and the fear and the anxiety of the Israelites to go into the land of Israel. But 2 of them said, no. And we could spend, and we will tomorrow morning spend a little bit of time on who are these people that were able to withstand that peer pressure. All of us would imagine wanting children in the world, or to be children in the world, who no matter what the mob says, we would stand in the truth of it, right? Like the whole mob, the whole world can tell us that the world is flat, and we'd say, no, thank you. And it's going to become harder and harder over the next couple of years to be able to discern the truth, to find the person who looks at you and says, I think you're in a delusion. It'll be very, very difficult. And the Torah essentially tells us, though, that we don't have to know the whole way home in order to take the next step. Here, these 10 people, essentially, if we could reduce their complaint to one simple complaint, is they said the very next thing might not be that hard, but what about the thing after that? We're worried about the thing after that, yeah? The 10 spies come back and they say, listen, the land is full of giants. It's really difficult, which is true. And the 2 people, Caleb and Joshua, those 2 guys, they said, yeah, it's true too. So we have the same information. We all agree. There are big people there. And the next moment, maybe we'll be okay. But the moment after, it's going to be a little harder. And these 2 groups basically divided on the far-off future. And as I was thinking about it this week, I came across a quote. A friend of mine sent me this quote, and I read it. And researched on it. It's a beautiful quote. It's from E.L. Doctorow, the great novelist. Wrote, it's like driving at night. You never see further than your headlights, but you can make the whole trip just that way. It's like driving at night. You never see further than your headlights, but you can make the whole trip that way. Isn't that essentially like the difference between those here who are gripped by fear and gripped by anxiety, gripped by the unknown that all of us are playing? That's why the writers actually include this piece here. Everything was going fine. What was the context? We were at Sinai, we were about to move, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, God says, you know what, send a couple of spies. Really? You had already promised it to them. They're super afraid. They're anxious, and maybe that was the first mistake. Maybe God should never have given them that out. I'm not going to tell you what it's like. Just trust me, go. But on some level, like, they got to see like the raw material of their terror. They're terrified. And they're not terrified of the very next moment. That's fine for them. They're terrified of what 6 months from now, a year from now. The first date is going great, so is the second, the third. But I want to end the relationship because you know what? I know it's going to be horrible. Trust me, 6 months from now, you're going to hate me, I'm going to hate you. I'll wake up in the morning, you won't like my breath, it'll be something. Right? Let's just call the whole thing off right now. We have no idea. It's like, it's going to be the way it's always been. And to some extent, E.L. Doctorow says, you know what? You only see what's in front of you. As far as the headlights, that's what trust. You won't know what's 5 blocks down the road. And it's certainly important to plan, and we can't live every single moment of our lives without anticipating big things that might be coming. Certainly that is certainly not what he's saying. But to some extent, the emunah, the faith that is the faith of Caleb and Joshua, that isn't the faith of those 10 spies, is they want to know not just how far the headlights are, but they want to know, can you beam a huge light? I want to see the next mile of road. And Caleb and Joshua say, you know what? You're standing on the precipice of the Holy Land. There are going to be things that you don't know. Take one step. Have some trust, have some faith. There was a Caleb and a Joshua who lived in our generation whose 7th anniversary of his passing was just yesterday. He was a Caleb and a Joshua whose credentials for being able to have hope in the face of despair, to have faith in the face of absolutely uncertain and horrific realities, proved him to be someone worthy of giving advice on how to face the uncertainty of the future. Professor Elie Wiesel was a remarkable human being whose life was a testimony to the enduring capacity to imagine that what was is not what must be, and that we have the capacity and the courage and the fortitude and the wherewithal to imagine a different future, and we must. And so in honor of his Yortzeit, or his 7th passing, his son Elisha wrote a beautiful Dvar Torah, a beautiful word of Torah, and I want to share it with all of you tonight. And then we'll stand for Aleinu. Elisha wrote, 12 Jewish souls stood at the gates of the 21st century and looked ahead to tell us what awaits. And as with the spies of old, 10 of them spoke words of cynicism and darkness, tainting what they saw as they related it to the rest of us. The first one said, defeat. I've seen the future, and there's no place for Judaism in the world. Ahead of us is a world of great scientific discovery and rational thought. Our belief system has no value there. There's no room for divinity at all. Everything we do is wrong. Let's go forward, disband as we do. The second one said, retreat. I've seen the future. It's too foreign for us to inhabit. There's no room for the world in our Judaism. We cannot coexist with the new world or accept its different ways of thinking. Assimilation is inevitable. We cannot move forward to keep our traditions pure. We can only turn inward. And the third one said, despair. I've seen the future, and we repeat our mistake. Children starve. Families are ripped apart. God and man seem to have abandoned us. There's no point in moving forward. The fourth one said, no irrelevance. I've seen the future, and we are but pawns on the teeniest of chessboards. Individual actions matter little. What is the point of anything? And the fifth one said, no chaos. My colleagues speak as though they have seen the future, but they have only seen possible futures. The unknowability of the future should overwhelm us, this one says. Let's only stay here in this moment only. No imagination. The sixth one said, no terror. I've seen the future, and the wars will have, innocents will die. We should not move into the future. The seventh one said hatred. The eighth one said indifference. The ninth one said avoidance. The 10th one said fatigue. But my father, said Elisha, was the 11th one. He had something different to say. My father said, embrace modernity and the past. Thrive on the contradictions. The strength that you derive from Shabbat is no less real than the power that fuels the jet engine taking you across the globe. Embrace being a Jew along with being a full citizen of the world. We can strengthen the world while it strengthens us. We must neither shut out the outside world nor cease to be who we are. My father said you must keep hope despite the tragedies which surround us. My father said that the Jewish people can and must fight for their own survival. and must be allowed to defend themselves. My father said, we cannot turn our eyes from suffering. We cannot let our hearts harden. Jew or non-Jew, every human being's heart is our heart, and we cannot avoid making the difficult choices necessary to defend our fellow human beings. And then he finally added, and most importantly said, my father showed through his actions that the small gestures of human relations are the true beauty in the world. Sometimes they are even greater than the grandest of ones. In listening to someone's story, in walking a guest in your home to the door, do not be weary of interactions with your fellow human being. Immerse yourself in them. Love this teaching. The headlights, anxiety, stay frozen, go backwards, give it all up, be indifferent. He said, no, walk in the light of faith. Right in front of you, there's a person who needs you. Right in front of you, there's a guest whom you can walk to the door. Right in front of you, there's someone somewhere. Right in front of you, in the next moment, is the promised land. To think 20 years from now, 30 years from now, sometimes can be so overwhelming we don't even know what's right in front of us. And these 12 different spies are also thought patterns that we have about our own lives. So go home tonight and say to yourself, what is that spy that says to me there's no way that my life will be any different? That spy that says despair, give up on the hope. What is the spy in me that says it's all going to always be one way? And Elie Wiesel would say, have faith, have trust. So who is the 12th voice? And in this, Elisha said, the 12th voice is the 12th Jew, the one who stands side by side with my Father and sees a message of hope in our collective future. Who is that person? Will it be you? Will it be you? Will it be me? Will it be us sometimes, and at other times we shift? That's the question, I think, of Shlach Lecha. It's you, it's me, all of us. We're all going. We all stand on the precipice of the promised land in the next moment, and our choices matter. May God bless each and every one of us to know how to respond to each of those voices in the right time, with a healthy dose of optimism, a really cogent and deep sense that to be faithful is not to be naive, to be trusting is not to be gullible, but really to enter into the most profound mystery, which is how do we move forward? How do we enter into that space? And how do we live in that truth? May God bless us with that and all of that. And let's say Amen. Please rise for the Aleinu on page 78. Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol, latei titula liyotze b'eshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzon, velo samanu im mishpechot adama, shesam chalkeinu imahem, וגוער עלינו עם כל העולם ואנחנו ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך הקדוש שהוא נוטה שמיים יוצר את מה שבקר בשמיים על שכינת וזו בגבי אמיר 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 אמיר. Sometimes I lay one day one day one day one day, one day, one day, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני, ושמו Please remain standing if you are remembering a loved one tonight in the Mourner's Kaddish. We invite those in our community online as well to write names of loved ones into the chat area. We all turn to page 176. 16 in the back of the Siddur. And as we move around the room, I invite you to say the names of loved ones with pride and with voice. Page 115 and 16. Yes. Eric. Mark. Those in the synagogue as well, in the Zumagog, Stephen Slomiak, and those who have been shown on the page. Please rise if you are someone who rises for the mourners. We remember Adele Hellman. Again, the mourners Kaddish on page 115 and 116. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Amen. V'yomad yivrachi l'usei v'yamlich machusei. V'chayechonu v'yamechonu v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagalat Wizman Kariv Imru. Amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mivorach Leolam Me'amaya. Yidbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. V'yisadar V'yisaleh V'yisalal Shmei D'Kudsha Brichu. Le'elam Mitkol Birchata V'shirata. Tush Bechata V'nechemata Da'amiran V'oma V'imru. Amen. Yehesh Lama Rabba Min Shmaya V'chayim Tovim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru. Amen. Yehi Zichram Baruch, may their memory be a blessing. We invite all of you to please rise. Into this cup of blessing. Who's it on sound? Nate? I forgot your name. What's your name? I know Matt. Oh my God. It's a senior moment. My brother, I have a twin brother. We both lamented this week that we think we're completely, we can't remember anything. I said to my brother, I said, what's your name? Online, I think it's Ari. Is Ari the moderator tonight? It was Ari. Ari, thank you so much. Yasher Koch to our divine drummer, Shoshana Jedwab, who holds the heartbeat of the community, and to Noah Solomon, honestly, if anybody here, I'm not going to say it, but I wish so much everybody should know that Noah, I hope Noah will be back with us as much as possible next year, even as our new musical director, Shimon, will be in town, Shimon Smith, and we look forward to that as well, hoping that we can make it happen. We can swing it somehow to have Noah with us, because it's been a year of flying with Noah Solomon. It's just unbelievable. Yep. Into this cup of blessing, Victor and the team, Lenore, and Blanca, everybody making it possible. Tomorrow morning, we'll be gathering for open book at 8:45, teaching a little bit of Torah about the story of the Mikoshesh Eitzim tomorrow, the one who gathered sticks on Shabbos. Should be a good one. Let's see. On page 88. Yeah, you sing with me, everybody. We'll do Kiddush together. John Denver was here tonight. That's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Take me home. Yom HaShishi, Vayechulu HaShamayim v'haaretz, v'chol tziva'am, Vaychal Elohim Hayom HaShvi'i, Melachto Asher Asa, Vayishbos Vayom HaShvi'i, Mikol Melachto Asher Asa, Vayevarech Elohim et Yom HaShevi'i, Vayikadesh Oso, Givo Shavas Mikol Melachto, Asher Barach Elohim Sos, Savri, V'ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Borei Pi HaGafen, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Roch HaOlam, Asher Kirshan Mitzvosav V'rot Tzavanu, V'Shabbat Kodsho,
Yava B'Ratzon Inchilanu,
Zikaron, Ki Hu Yom Lemikra Kodesh, זכר צעים קיבלנו בחרת ואותנו עם כל העמים משבת ויעבר רצוני לך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Into this cup of blessing also I should have said, and it's on my mind, is that this coming Sunday to all of the Abbas, the fathers in our community and beyond, here's to raising them up and well on this coming Sunday. And of course, Monday, Juneteenth, it's a huge deal. God should bless all of us with not just the beginnings of redemption, but also seeing it through to the end. May all beings be free. Shabbos is a time to feel free, and so we hope you feel free tonight. Feel free to bring your siddur to the door. Feel free also to come back tomorrow and to join us, and as well, I'm going to be going to Eretz Yisrael coming on Monday for a month of learning and teaching and resting. So I look forward to seeing everybody, God willing, in a month from now. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Good job.
Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imu amen. La 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 yo la la ya la la oh 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 la 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 yo la la ya Shalom bimroma, oh yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imu amen. La 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 ya la ya la la ya Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu.